Hi, this is Ofoy Murray, the digital reader, and today what I'm going to be talking about is iPads versus e-readers versus books. I feel like if you're looking at the total functionality, it's not really a contest. iPads and tablets beat e-readers. For me, the more interesting comparison is e-readers and books, because books, people come up with a lot of reasons why books are better than e-readers, but I really feel like there's really only one reason. And, I'll get into it a bit when I get into it. Now, I'm a person who enjoys my numbers, so instead of going too much back and forth, I actually made a list. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my list and get started. So I'm looking at tablets, e-readers, and books, making a couple assumptions. This comparison is for reading comics, reading literature books. It's not really for reading like PDFs. So really this is mostly about books and maybe manga, but not so much for PDFs. I feel like, once again, it's not really a contest. Tablets win when it comes to reading PDFs. So the things I'm looking at is portability, battery life, durability, capacity, eye strain, readability, functionality, annotation, and reference, and then kind of giving a total score. Once again, this is just completely my idea. It's, based off of what I feel about these things. So definitely people might agree or disagree. This is just kind of how I feel on it. So looking at the first thing of portability, I kind of gave them all the same score. I'm going to be scoring these things 1 to 3. And I'm going to give a special S tier of 4 points for things if one of these devices or one of these things blows the other out the water in one way or another. So portability, I'm giving them all great marks. Obviously, you can get big books, you can get big e-readers, you can get big tablets, but I'm talking about purchasing the portable versions of these. And I think all of them are perfectly fine for portable. They'll fit in a bag, they'll fit in a pocketbook. Some of these will even fit in a pocket if you get the right size. So I'm giving them all a 3. Battery life. For battery life, I'm giving the tablet 1 because I feel it has the worst battery life. E-readers, I'm giving it 2. They have good battery lives. And I have to give books a S tier 4 because they don't even require batteries. So they have infinite battery life. For durability, I'm giving tablets a 1 because I feel that they're the most fragile. I feel like e-readers and books, I'm giving a 2. I feel like books have the advantage when it comes to being dropped, and I feel that most modern e-readers have the advantage when it comes to getting wet. So I kind of give them a pass. I don't feel like any of them get a 3 as far as durability. They're durable, but you're not going to be dropping them off a 3rd-story window or something like that, or, submerging them in water for a couple hours. These things are perfectly fine if you take moderate care of them. That's kind of what I feel like. A 2 is perfectly fine if you take moderate care of them, and a 1 is perfectly fine if you're just careful about how you use it in just a normal human fashion. Capacity. I feel like for capacity, tablets and e-readers can hold the highest books, the most books, and they can also get books from different vendors online as part of the experience. I feel like for books, you got to give them a 1, although I was thinking about it, and at first I thought, well, the capacity of a book is 1 book, but that's not really true. You can buy an omnibus, so the capacity of a book, I feel like, is 1 to 3 books, because you can get a book that has 3 different books in it. You know how to combine them if the book's been out a while. Eye strain, tablets, I give a 1. They have the active screens. They have the most eye strain. E-readers and books, I call it a tie. Both of them are wonderful when it comes to the amount that they reduce eye strain. Readability, I have to give it a 3 to tablets. You may not be able to read them for a long time with eye strain, but they're bright, they're beautiful, they're in color. They are the most easy to read. E-readers, I give it 2 because they're easy to read, but more importantly, you can change your reading settings. So you can make the font bigger or smaller. Definitely for older readers, and well, not even for older readers, but for people who struggle to read fine print, having been able to change your font size is invaluable. The other thing that is invaluable that kind of blows books out the water is backlight. You know, you can use a backlight, you can change your font. So I feel like the readability of e-readers is also high. So that's why I give books a 1. Functionality, you gotta give tablets an S tier 4 for functionality. They can do everything. So that's kind of a no-brainer. E-readers, I couldn't even give them a 3. E-readers are really about reading books. I mean, some of them will do audiobooks, but, you know, really what they're saying is some of them can play music. So some of them can do audiobooks, but that's why I gave it a 2. I just don't feel it reaches a 3. And books, of course, are single-use devices, so they're going to get a 1. For notation and reference, once again, tablets' versatility makes them wonderful and wonderfully easy for notation and reference. E-readers are good for notation and reference. I think that they beat books. And I think books are the worst for notation and reference. There's no way to kind of search and find, you know, anything. You can make notes and stuff in books, but you can't change those notes easily. So I feel like that leaves books at a 1. So looking at my total score, tablets and e-readers, neck and neck. I feel like tablets' versatility is what gets it up there. I feel like if your number one concern is eye strain, then the e-reader is the easy pick. But if your number one concern is an eye strain, and honestly, I feel like if you're a person who doesn't read for more than an hour at a time, you know, you're probably going to be fine with a tablet. But if you're somebody who can get into, you know, 2.5 hour reading sessions, then that's where eye strain, I think, can raise its ugly head. I mean, it might even be even earlier, but I would say if you're somebody who reads in short bursts, rock a tablet. I have a tablet, and, you know, they're great for reading in short bursts. As a matter of fact, tablets are my preferred reader. You know, if I'm going to be reading something graphical, then I prefer tablets because of the colors and the vibrancy. So e-readers and tablets, I kind of consider a tie. And once again, this is for reading. If we're talking about anything else, tablet is the winner. But for reading books and manga, e-readers and tablets. And I say books and mangas because most mangas are in black and white. If you're talking about comic books, I got to go to tablets again because of the full color. Books are last. They just, the main thing that books have an advantage on with tablets and e-readers is what I call the apocalypse excuse, which is basically, well, what happens if something happens in the world and there's no electricity? You know, how are you going to read your books? I can't argue with that. And I feel like when the apocalypse comes, they will win that argument. But right now, I consider myself an active member of the 21st century, and that means I rock electricity. So it is a winning argument if you're saying, hey, if there's no electricity, you can't use e-readers or tablets, and books will still be around and able there for anybody to read. But, you know, that's kind of one of my, you know, in a world of infinite possibilities, anything's possible. I just am confident that in my lifetime, and I'm older, so I have the advantage, but I feel like in my lifetime, I'm probably going to have electricity till my last day. So this is at least one of my thoughts. Interested in your thoughts and comments. This is Ofori, the digital reader, and keep reading.